Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Costello. I am a writer, developmental editor, book mentor, and educator. Today I want to talk to you about what to do when you've finished your first draft, specifically around NaNoWriMo. So some of these tips can be translated to most other things. Some of these will be very specific to NaNoWriMo. NaNoWriMo is National Novel Writing Month, and this takes place during the month of November. Today, as I'm filming it, is the first week in December, so if you just finished Nano, I want to say congratulations. If you won, that is so awesome, and I'm so proud of you. But even if you only wrote for 3 days this month, you still made progress on a story, so I want you to be proud of that. I'm going to talk to you about some of the do's and don'ts of a first draft. Let's get started. Or NaNoWriMo, I'm going to just call it Nano for short. You try to write 1,667 words a day on average to write 50,000 words in the month of November. It's a lot. So the first do of finishing your first draft is take a break, especially if you just finished NaNoWriMo. Nano is a super fun thing. So the reason I say to take a break is because during Nano, it is a lot. It is emotionally exhausting. You're doing so much work, sometimes more work than you do ever in the entire year for some people, or you're doing a lot of short burst work, which some people don't do a lot. So taking a break is a really necessary thing in my mind, just to let your mind reset and get ready to go into the next stage of your project. This break can allow you to come back to your project to finish the draft or to start the next phase of your project with a fresh set of eyes, with a sort of a break so you're not so close to the project that you miss mistakes. The first don't is do not query your first draft. Now, a query is something that you send to an agent or a publishing house depending on their submission guidelines. Most publishing houses will not take you without an editor or an agent, but do not send a query, which is a request for representation based on your project, to an agent. In the past, agents have actually had a deluge of submissions from people finishing NaNoWriMo projects and then just submitting their first unedited draft. That is both a disservice to the agent, and it's also a disservice to you because you are not putting your best foot forward. Whether or not you think this is the best thing on the planet, do not submit a first draft. A lot of times, they won't even look at it. So the second do is read what you have written so far. This has got a little caveat of don't start editing it. We will get to that. But read what you have written. See where you are in this stage of your project. Do you still like where it's going? And make notes. Do you like the scene? Do you like what's happening here? Do you think this needs a little bit more work later on? You need to do a little bit more research in this capacity. Take those notes and read and just look at it with a fresh set of eyes after your break. Your second don't goes with that rereading of your project, and that's don't overly question or doubt what you have written. This is a first draft. This is a best way to describe it, word vomit draft that you have fast drafted in a month. You've fast drafted somewhere between 0 and 50,000 or more words in 30 days or less. Some people hit it in like 2 weeks. I'm like, how do you do that? But you have just poured out so much work so quickly. There is going to be mistakes. There's going to be big mistakes. And that's okay because you're doing some really fast work. And this is the time to now make it more quality and something that you do want to share. Do finish what is needed. For example, the project that I'm working on is not complete yet. I'm still going to take that break and then go back into it because I know there's scenes that aren't quite finished, that I just kind of rushed and did the bare bones of. There are sections that I need to expand and to make better. This is the time to then do it. After you've taken your break, after you've read what you've done, now you can expand it, and it's still part of that first draft because you're not complete yet. The third don't I have is don't share. And I say don't share this first draft with a little star because I definitely think that is a good idea to get feedback. I definitely think it's a good idea to have someone else read your story, but I would say maybe do it on a second or third draft once you've read through things, or maybe don't share all of it yet. As writers, we can have two different scenarios. One where we keep everything really, really close to our chest and we don't share anything and we're scared to share our projects and let people see because we fear their judgment. And then the other side is we're too overly eager to share and we throw our work at people, and then that's how we can get hurt because people can look at an unfinished project that isn't quite done yet and make judgments and critiques and things that aren't helpful. For me personally, when I share a project, I always make a note and a caveat to put in my stuff that I am not great at grammar. I'm not great at spelling, and there's going to be typos. But that is why I hire an editor, and I always mark, if you want to comment on those things, you are more than willing to, and I appreciate it because I can learn from it. But it's not something that you need to comment on because I know it's an issue that I'm looking at and I'm going to be working on in the future. And that can be just something that you do to protect yourself if you know you have those issues that you need to work on. Now, I'm going to counter something I said before. I said to edit, and I said to add to your story. But I don't want you to edit on that first read. Because you are, after your break, you're getting reacclimated with the story. You're getting to know what went on. So now, you don't want to be automatically editing and changing things when you don't know the full picture of everything quite yet. But once you have done that edit, or that read through, once you have done that read through and you've finished everything that needs to be finished, then edit. And then I have a few more things that are do's. Don't quite have as many don'ts because this is a really fun process. And the next thing that I have is I want you to appreciate. Do appreciate what you have done. Even if it is kind of a heaping pile of garbage, it's your heaping pile of garbage. It is yours. You have written it. You put your time, your tears, your effort, your brain into this. So appreciate that. And celebrate that. Like, for some people, that is the most they've ever written in their life. For you, it might be the most you've written during a really, really hard, stressful time. Especially for 2020. That should be celebrated. Okay. The last thing that I want to encourage you to do is do some research. Usually after the first draft is when I start to lightly consider what I want to do with this project. I am also a business, so I have to think about how I want to market it, what is my projected timeline, and not anything detailed, more like, I think I want this to come out in 2021. Very vague. Start to think about what are the markets that your book would be in. For example, mine is fantasy and adventure. So I'm going to start looking at those genres and see what else people are doing. But I'm not really pushing. This is also a good time if you want to do a more traditional focus to start looking at who is accepting clients at this time for agents, who is not, what are submission guidelines, and what are some things that you need to have. This would also be a really great time to write a very rough synopsis of what your story is. It could be 2 pages long at this point, but just what happens in your story. So that's really beneficial for later when you're working on the back matter synopsis, if you need to write that, and any marketing materials that you're going to need. It's a really great way to have this living document that is going to change over time, to have that in your back pocket, so you have that tool that you can whip out if people ask any questions. You can go, oh, right, blah, 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 and read it off. But most of all, be proud of what you've done. Go, if you have Facebook, look on Facebook. There's plenty of NaNoWriMo groups of people that are working on stuff. I know January, I believe, is the official now what month for NaNoWriMo, where the NaNoWriMo team goes through and puts out information on editing and services and things that you can do to help improve your story. And that's why I really emphasize the take a break, because even the NaNoWriMo team takes a break in the month of December until January. This is the time where I'm going to do a little self-promo plug and let you know that I do offer editing services, and I did a whole video about them, either here or here. I don't know what side of the screen it's on, but I did a whole video describing what I do as far as my editing services. My services are strictly developmental, which means that it's specifically around your story and your structure and your plot. As I said, I'm not good at grammar. I'm not good at spelling and punctuation and that sort of thing, so I am not the person to go to for that. But after you take your break and after you do your first pass and things like that, I am someone that can help refine your story and make sure that it is just right. For more information about my services, you can send me an email at info@scripturentpress@gmail.com, or you can go to scripturentpress.weebly.com, or you can check out that video that I talked about. I also want to acknowledge that we are heading into 2021. Feels like it's going to be a great year, hopefully, but also keeping in mind that we're not quite out of 2020 and the issues that have come out of it yet. So for the last video of this year, I'm going to be talking about planning and goal setting as a writer and what you can do and how I do it. And the theme for January of things that I'm going to be working on and producing products for free worksheets and things is going to be goal setting and also technology that writers can use. If you have anything specific that you would like to see in those videos or worksheets, please leave a comment down below and I will definitely make note of it. And yeah, I'm really excited. If there's anything that you would like to see, let me know. Nothing is set in stone until I film it, so we definitely can add some things. While you are here, I would hope that you would take some time to check out my other channel, where I just posted a vlog all about the last week of NaNoWriMo, where I wrote 10,000 words in one day and then crashed. Or the video where I talk all about my newest book, Until All the Stars Are Found. Thank you everybody for coming and hanging out. All of my social media links will be listed down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Hey. Excuse me. I am trying to film a video here and you are like balancing on my computer and the chair, and I'm not a huge fan of it.